have a few more coming in, I'm sure, but we like to keep things timely here at Redmond Growth. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen. And we are going to get going. All right. Can everybody see the slide? Yes. Yes. Good, good, good. Okay.
Yeah, we're not seeing your slide. We're seeing the other screen.
Well, that is a problem. Let's try this one. What about now?
That's the ticket.
Beautiful.
Yeah, there it is. There it is.
Bryce is our tech guy. He just spent about 30 minutes in here trying to figure out my headset, so I apologize in advance. I am not the tech person in here. Okay, so what is on the agenda today? We're going to have a teaching moment. It's going to be about leveraging your online reputation. And then we're going to be talking about Google reviews. And I'm sure you guys are already really sick of hearing about it. Whether you've had one meeting with us or 170, I'm sure you are already sick of us talking about Google reviews. So we're going to make this whole meeting about it today. Now, we're going to talk about real practical things, why they're important, how you can get them, and we're going to be going over that. And then we're going to have a Q&A session. That's something that we have every single week at the end of this call. We try to reserve 20 minutes or more just for a Q&A session. And so whether you're typing a question into the chat, you have a comment, we'd love for you to be able to unmute, be on video if you can, but we'd really love for you to be able to participate in that Q&A session. Another thing that we do, it's every Tuesday, we have a I need help call. It's either Robert Redmond himself or one of us just sitting on Zoom, waiting for somebody to pop on there and ask a question. And so if you are wanting advice, or maybe are just sick of hearing your coach's voice and you want to hear the same advice from somebody else, jump on that call. We want to help you. It's just another resource for you to be able to tap into. And so those are on Tuesday at 9 a.m., I believe. Jonathan?
That's correct.
Yes,
Central
Bryce
time.
is nodding.
Not.
So
Yes.
yes, 9 a.m. Central Time. So adjust accordingly for wherever you're at. Okay, so business wins of the week. I would love to hear from everybody who is on this call. If anybody has a win, go ahead and tell us the good news. I see my good old pal Raul is on this call. I talked to him earlier today. I know that he is winning, that it's been a good week for him. I see that we've got Darren on the call. We've got Stephanie and Tim. Any wins of the week that we would like? Actually, Stephanie and Tim, you guys have a win. You guys literally texted me earlier today, which is your fault because now I'm calling you out. You should have known better. But if you guys could unmute and just share real quick what it is that you guys did this week and what it has resulted in for you.
Go ahead, Stephanie.
So we've had a really slow couple of weeks. So we've been coming up with different ideas to try and, I guess, get business going since the phone hasn't really been ringing. So Nicole implemented a plan for us to just reach out, call prior customers, and start doing safety inspections. So we've gotten a couple of those booked for next week. Hopefully this one here will find more problems in their house. And then today he also sold a whole home repipe job while I was doing that here at home.
That is awesome. That's huge. And I believe a repipe was around $6K that you're able to sell. And so that's a lot of income. That's phenomenal.
Yes, yeah, it's a good finish to a terrible week.
Well, you got to celebrate the wins. Yep, you got to celebrate the wins whenever they come, how small or large. So you guys are just so diligent about sticking with it, and just whatever I tell these guys to do, they're on it. They're going to do it. And so loved hearing that this morning. Any other wins from anybody in the call here today that we want to share real quick? Yes, Darren, unmute and tell us the good news.
Hi, everybody. I'd say it's another week where I have not been in the field, which is a win.
Hey.
I have not had any time in the field other than 1 2-hour period. And
Wow.
because of that, I'm selling more from the office. And I don't think I would have sold, I sold 3 jobs yesterday, but the 2 jobs I wouldn't have sold if I wasn't in the office. They're total equipment, redos. It's like $60,000 worth of work that I definitely would not have gotten if I was running around in the field yesterday.
Wow.
So
Wow.
Woohoo!
that worked.
Come
Yes.
on.
To many more weeks like that to come. That is phenomenal, Darren. I know that right now is kind of your busy season, and so I really appreciate you being diligent about setting that time in the office and just freaking doing it,
Yeah.
and just making sure that you are prioritizing your time. That is awesome.
Hmm.
So this is one of my clients here that I have on this document, on this WINS document. This is Jason with Alicorp Plumbing. Jason is phenomenal. He's been with us for a little over 2 years now. He is one of my clients who is the most diligent about getting Google reviews. As you can see, he has 448 reviews, which is phenomenal. He comes up #1 in his area of Chesapeake. We're actually starting to bleed out into other territories like Virginia Beach. And so this guy, he just does phenomenal work. His customers clearly love him, and he's just so diligent about making sure that every single week he's getting a couple Google reviews. And so I wanted to brag about him. He's also been able to over double the revenue of his company without adding on more trucks. So he has literally the same
Wow.
amount of employees, but he's over doubled his revenue literally because of the work that's been done with getting Google reviews, the adjustments that we've made to his prices. And so just a huge testimony there about the power of your online reputation and how that can really explode your company if you're intentional about it. Okay, so we're going to move on to leveraging your reputation. This is something we're really passionate here about Redmond Growth. Like I said, whether you've had 1 meeting with us or over 100 meetings with us, you've heard us say it, that the most powerful thing that you have when it comes to your marketing is your online reputation. So I have 2 questions for everybody who's on this call. The first one is, why did you decide to start your own company? Is anybody willing to unmute and speak up? Why did you start your own company? What made you want to do it? Raul, Jose.
I just unmuted it. Is that how it works?
Yep. So Raul, why did you start your own company?
Oh, I don't think I was very smart. That's why. I started my business in 2010, right when the market crashed. And when I was working for another company, it was really slow. And it was, you got to do something to survive. And that was the choice I had in front of me. I never wanted to own a company. I was never that person that always wanted to own my own business. I became the person that has to run the business. That's how it worked for me.
Nice. Okay, so you're like, hey, I see a need, I have to fill it, and so I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, and then from there it was a lot of growth after that. Before I started my business, I wasn't driven, ambitious, or anything like that. And after I started my business, all that got fired up really good.
Yeah, really changed your life, which is awesome.
Yes.
Anybody else? Manny, I see you just jumped on the call. I might pick on you a little bit here. Why did you start a company? So why did you start, what made you want to start your own company?
My biggest reason was because I was tired of being an at-will employee.
Yeah, wanted to be your own boss.
Simple enough. Yep.
Yes. Yep. I think that's a big one for most. Anybody else? Why did you start your own company? I feel like you guys have to be somewhat passionate about it. Brent, I saw you on mute. Yeah. You're on the spot here.
Yeah. So I had been in the trade setting tile for about 8 years, and I worked through 3 different master craftsmen who were just super talented at what they did, that they sucked at running business. And I seen over the years of when my confidence level grew that I knew the trade, then I started kind of putting my bosses under a microscope and looking at them going, hey, you really suck. Like all these homeowners are yelling at you that you can't run a schedule, you can't make a contract, you can't keep an invoice in the end. And I'm just the employee observing, where I finally just got wise enough once I gained the confidence understanding the craft. Then I looked at these 3 businesses that I just moved up, from the pay scale. I bettered myself through 3 different companies. And after I hit a peak company, I observed that employer going, dang, I can do that. Not only do I think I can run a business, I think I can do it better than you are.
Yes.
And when I put in my notice for him, oh, go ahead.
Which that is a great point, Brent, because it kind of takes me to my second question here. What gave you the confidence to believe that you should start your own company? I think that's kind of what you're talking about.
Working for an employer that you feel you can do better than them.
Yes.
And that's it. That's the answer. And
yes.
I know I am. I look at where I'm at today. I'm destroying where these guys were ever at when I worked for them back then. Not even the same business.
Right. Right. And so who here would say that, before they became a business owner, they had maybe seen somebody in the same industry do some pretty crappy work? Anybody have experienced that? Like, oh gosh, seeing people get ripped off. Has anybody seen that? Worked for a company where they just wanted high ticket prices and wanted you to get them however you possibly could. Has anybody seen that happen? Yes, I'm sure we all have. And so the main reason, that we've seen here at Rev and Growth of why somebody starts their own company is because you do good work. That's the basis. That's the foundation of why you start your own company, is because you do good work and you see the need for that work. There is a need for honest contractors who are working for the customer and are doing, have fair prices and are going to do high quality work. And so you saw the need and you wanted to fill that gap because you know that you do good work and there's not a ton of good work out there. One quote that I came across is, if you do good work for good clients, it will lead to other good work for other good clients. If you do bad work for bad clients, it will lead to other bad work for other bad clients. I think that's really key here. When we first start with companies, they might not have a ton of Google reviews, but a lot of the times where you start a company is you are living off of referrals. Who started there? That's how your first couple leads came from, was referrals. Yeah, hands going up everywhere. That's the way you first start a company, is word of mouth, referrals. You're doing good work and you're trusting that people will share that. And that's a great place to start. It's where most of us do start. And even as you grow your company, that's still going to be a big lead flow. If you continue to do good work, that is going to lead to more good work for more good clients. But if you're really on the pathway of trying to grow your company, eventually you can get a little bottlenecked, where if that's the only place that you're depending for your leads, it's really hard to be able to grow. Who here has kind of been in that situation where you're like, man, I've got good referrals coming in, but it's just not enough? Has anybody been in that point? And so that's when you say, it's usually when you start calling a company like us, actually, and you say, how do I get more leads? What can I do? I've got a great reputation, but nobody seems to know about me. I have a good reputation, but I need to spread the word. And so what I'm here to do is to encourage you today to really look back and reflect on, why did I get into this industry? What gave me the courage and the confidence to start my own company? I know that right now, with everything that's going on in the world, with inflation and just, all the BS that we're dealing with nowadays, it can be a little scary. And you might think, oh gosh, this is intimidating. There's a lot going on. I want you to reflect back to what got you into this business, why you decided to start your own company. And then think about all the good work that you've done for good people and how it started to result in more good work. And so I'm here to encourage you to be tenacious about getting reviews, be tenacious about it, wear that badge, honorably, really be intentional about asking for those reviews because you deserve them. That's the only way that you're going to be able to get more. You can kind of think of it as like the modern day word of mouth is Google reviews, because you can probably blame my generation here. We're more likely to trust a review on Google compared to a personal referral from a friend. I'm sorry, that's just the way that we are. And so be tenacious about getting those reviews. Get comfortable with video testimonials. Video testimonials are so powerful. It's a literal human person who you are looking at, who is telling you about their experience with this company. A lot of times those testimonials will sell for you. Get comfortable with them. Customers are going to get a little weird about it. We can walk you through how to get, how to do video testimonials and the best way to get them. But the first step is you got to get comfortable with it. Be confident in the value that you deliver. I see, Glenn over here on our call here today, he's with on-site wheel alignment. That's something that him and I are really focusing on, because he is a white glove service. He literally goes on site and does wheel alignments for these big fleets. They don't have to go into a shop. It saves them fuel, money, time. It is a white glove service. So we got to be freaking confident in the value that we're giving. It's going to allow us to be able to sell more. It's going to allow us to be able to sell at the price point that we deserve. And so be confident in that value that you are bringing to your customers. And then last but not least, charge the prices you deserve. Charge them. Be confident in them. And if you are intentional about the value that you are bringing, if you are comfortable and tenacious about getting those reviews and testimonials, you will be able to charge the prices you deserve without a problem. And so I'm going to step off my soapbox here. I'm going to hand things over to Rudy so that he can get a little bit more tangible about the first steps to really getting those reviews.
I don't know if I can compete with that. I think we're just going to wrap it up. Okay. I think I got this figured out. All right, Google reviews. You've all heard so much about it, but I've really made some effort here. I want to go over with everybody some things that you've already heard a million times. We're going to brush through that quickly, but slow enough so that if they're hearing it for the first time, then they can really get it. But I want to go through some real key principles here that I want everyone to just audit themselves. How am I doing with this, and what can I improve? What can I do better on here? So first off, let's just go through the importance of these reviews. So never mind, that's not first off. First off, I want to ask you all, who's going to get the Google review crown? What is the Google review crown? It's simply the person with the most Google reviews on this phone call. So blurt it out. Who's got it? Someone's got to be first. Just say it. Okay, anybody that has over 50 Google reviews, you can raise your hand.
Not me. I'm not the Google crown winner.
That's
I got
okay.
60.
60. All right. Anybody over 100?
Last week when we started, I thought we were going to be the winner.
Unfortunately not, Andy. But
Didn't work like we thought it would.
No, it's still we've barely scratched the surface on that. So it's getting there. All right. Anybody else over 150?
Well, my plumber is being humble over there. They're trying to be quiet about
All right,
it.
we're just gonna need someone to blurt it out. No one's committed yet. Darren, how many do you have now?
83.
83. Well, That's doubled in the last few weeks. So let's keep on doing that.
I think we have 146.
146.
Yeah.
Anybody have more than
146?
146?
Yes, we do.
How many?
We've been in business 17 years, so we have 735.
Woo!
All right. Well, you're disqualified. Way to go. And what's the name? What's your name and name of the business?
My name is Lane Tabola, and our name of our business is Junior Smokehouse and Bakery. We're a barbecue restaurant and bakery in Texas.
You're Harley's new guy.
You must have some good food then. People must like you.
Here's the thing with restaurants is people think they're a food critic. Everyone who walks in, they think they have the right to rate your food. And I don't believe in that. I think that's wrong. But 700 reviews, way to go. You earned the Google review crown. Let's get back to business here. You deserve that though, that's huge. Why Google reviews? Okay, first off, they increase your credibility. 81% of customers read reviews before purchasing any product or service, and that's according to Adweek. 81%. That's more than 4 out of 5 people. Actually, take the time to read reviews before purchasing your service or giving you a phone call. 84% of people trust online reviews as much as a personal recommendation. That's more than 4 out of 5 people specifically reading reviews. And when they see that review that says, hey, this is my go-to restaurant or plumber or whatever it might be, this is the person to call. That's literally the weight of their very own friend or family member or someone telling them this is the place to go to. It's very, very important. It's very weighty. In fact, I do that myself every day. I look at review, well, maybe not every day, but whenever I need to make that buying decision, I look at that and it's a deal breaker on what those reviews say. Next, they increase your visibility. Pretty straightforward here. Google says this themselves. They will help you rank higher on Google. They want to rank people higher on Google for your keywords, for your industry. If you have more credibility, if you have more reviews, therefore more reviews equal more leads, equal more visibility on Google. This is very, very important. And thirdly, I hope there's a third. Oh yeah, what about other review platforms and search engines? So, what about Bing, Yahoo, or Facebook reviews, Yelp reviews, and all that? Those are all nice, but it turns out 90% of the pie, 90% of searches are done on Google, according to Business Insider. That's why when I'm really hungry on Thanksgiving, I'm going to eat 90% of the pie. I'm not going to go for the little sliver that's left over. I'm the greedy one. So if you want to make the most out of this, you've got to focus on Google reviews. I'm not saying other reviews are bad, but Google reviews happen to be 10 times more effective. So actually 10 times more effective combined with all others. Yeah, you get it. So it's super, super important. Google reviews are the way to go. And I could go on story after story and testimony after testimonial of how this has transformed people's businesses. But we won't do that yet. Maybe later at the call, we can hear about some of you guys, how that's really changed your business. Okay, now where do you start with Google reviews? First off, this is everyone's first meeting. And I know that everyone has heard this already. If you've had a meeting with us, you've heard this, but I'm going to reiterate it because it's very easy to do it once and then forget about it and never do it again. Number one, you've got to reach out to friends and family for character reviews. Anybody who you know personally, any friend, anybody who can vouch for you personally. You may have not done any work for them, but they can say, hey, I know Darren, and he's a great person, does great work. And I've known him for X amount of years and I can vouch for his character. Or so-and-so he works really hard, or this group of people, whatever it might be, they can leave you a character review. Or for that fact, why can't they just say, hey, this person drives real well on the road? I mean, if people can leave you 1-star reviews to say, hey, this person drives a little crazy here, let's just put a 5-star and say, hey, this is a great respecter of traffic here, goes into the speed limit. Try that out once. Let's see how it goes. Maybe really help someone out. Okay, Secondly, you've got to gather all your emails and on a regular basis, ask people you haven't asked already, could you get us a review through our email campaign system? So if you haven't had that done in the last few months, then let's get that done. Bother your coach about that. And especially if maybe you started with us at a point where I wasn't really in the habit of gathering emails, of doing so, and you've been really diligent about gathering emails, go back to your coach and say, I've got about 300 emails we can kick this off with. Or even if it's 150 or 50, I know everyone's in different situations here where the weight of one review can mean a lot more in certain industries because you're not seeing 3 new customers a day.
Considering that almost like regular maintenance on your car, like changing the oil. It's something that if you do that, all the work that you've done in those past 3 months is what's going to help you generate more work and better clients and better work in the future too. So if you're not able to get the reviews in the moment of actually doing the thing, then this is a great, easy way of getting like a collection point every couple of months.
Very good point. And we're going to talk more about that. But yeah, this is a plan B here. But we're going to talk more about plan A here in a minute. And then thirdly, you've got to always ask for all customers moving forward all the time. We're going to talk more about specific keys to follow when doing this, but just as a solid reminder, you've got to always ask customers moving forward. So you've got to use this link, by the way. Let me show you how to do this. 1 second. This is the best link to use. Just go on Google. I'm going to type in an example, the Pink Dumpster. They're based in McDonough. Click on your reviews right here. Shoot, I'm in an incognito window. It didn't work. Okay, you're going to see it right here. When you know what? I'm committing to this. I'm going to go back on the other window. 1 second. Here we go. So all you have to do is go on Google, type in your business name. Here we go. Type in your business name. Hit Google reviews right here. And it says get more reviews. When you click on get more reviews, this is the link you want. Just hit copy right here. And then text that or email it to yourself. You can do it right here. This is the best link because when they click on that, it goes directly to the writer review section. It's very, very straightforward. The only reason this wouldn't work is if they didn't have a Google account. And if they don't have that Google account, I mean, you can either ask them how much they love you or move on. But this is the link you want to use. If you have trouble getting this link, you can ask your coach. We'll make sure you have that. All right.
Facebook.
Someone said Facebook.
Yeah. If they don't have Google, a lot of the times they have Facebook.
Yeah, absolutely. You can ask them for a Facebook review. You know, once again, that's not the biggest focus, but a review is better than no review. Absolutely.
Yeah, I've got a 2-sided card, and I don't hand it out. It has a QR code link to the Google review, and on the other side, it has a large QR code link for Facebook reviews. So, you know, most people, even people who don't know how to use their phone, still usually have a smartphone. So that's a way to just quickly go from platform to platform as you're getting reviews. You're already there. They've already agreed to write your review. You might as well get something.
Absolutely. Yeah. And if you were to create a QR code or if you wanted to even give it a shot, that would be the same link that you would use to attach to that QR code. But here's what I want to say is this is an absolute, I've worked with dozens of different businesses and clients here, different industries. All in all, this is the treasure chest of just free work. And I will give you the keys to unlock this chest. Are we excited about this? You've got to follow each one of these principles. All right, let's do it. So here are 5 key principles for Google reviews. Number 1, employees need a weekly checkup on this. They have got to be asked about this every single week. If you are expecting them to gather reviews, you have got to have this in your system, in your weekly meeting, or if it's not in your weekly meeting, and you don't have one, we'll start one. But if you're not doing one anyway, then at least do this. Call them up, have a predictable time in place when you are holding them accountable to the amount of Google reviews that they need to get. Number one. Number two, you have to gather the review while you're on site. As soon as the customer walks away, then so did the review. We cannot afford to let people walk away without having them leaving your review. That is so important. It's exactly like Mark just said. It's so important just to have them scan that QR code, text them the link, or just get that review while you're there. There are other methods and tools that we can use, but we don't want to depend on that. I'll talk more about that later. Next, don't be afraid to ask. Here's what I mean by this. Most people, most customers truly won't have anything negative to say about you or on the review, unless there's a real good reason for it. Unless you know, okay, let's not ask this person for a Google review. As a whole, if you're there to ask them, hey, are you willing to leave me a Google review? And they say yes, they're not going to just suddenly put a 2 or a 1-star review in front of your face and just, walk and then just say bye. I know that humanity is kind of troubling sometimes, but come on, we don't give 1-star Google reviews in front of people's faces. We haven't crossed that line yet. So in all honesty, don't be afraid to ask. Most people are really excited or at least are willing to say something positive and give you a 5-star. Next, if you're incentivizing a customer to leave you a Google review, for example, which I would recommend if you really want to get after it, hey, you get $10 discount off of this job if you leave me a review. Make sure they show you the review before you give them any kind of incentive. Before you give them a reward. As soon as you give them that reward and they didn't leave that review, chances of you getting that review have dropped significantly. This has happened so many times. I talked to somebody, remember a while back, they said, yeah, I gave out $200 and I didn't get a single review. I said, that's just not the way to do it. You have to make sure they show you the Google review and then you say, great, let's go ahead and take that off for you, or give them a gift card or whatever that incentive might be. There's so many different ways to do this. Number 5, don't incentivize employees to gather reviews unless they have demonstrated they can gather reviews without an incentive first. What do I mean by this? If you tell your team, guys, Google reviews are so important, let's all get at least 2 or 3, let's say 2 reviews this week. Can we do that? They say yes. Turns out they didn't do it. They didn't ask anybody, or maybe they asked, they barely tried. And the next week comes around and they still haven't gotten reviews. If now you say, all right, guys, why don't you, if you get a review this time, now you get $10 per review. What's going to happen is they never cross that bridge to begin with, and they're still too afraid to do it, and they're not going to do it, and they're just going to see it as an optional, it's as optional. They're going to think, well, I don't really care for the incentive, so I'm just going to pass on that. I'm just going to go ahead by my normal day and do my normal work like I'm supposed to, but I'm going to pass on this whole incentive thing. We want to do it the other way around, to where you make sure that they can start gathering reviews. And then you just add the cherry on top. Guys, by the way, you've demonstrated you can do it. Let's say after your first review of the week, you get X amount of dollars or a bonus, or even Jeff on this call here, he started this cool thing where you get a cornhole bag for every review you got. Is that right, Jeff?
Yeah, for every review you get a cornhole bag. And then the last Friday of every month, it's more of the camaraderie. We get together after our morning meeting and we throw cornhole bags, and you get so much if you get it in a hole, so much if it's on the board, and so much if it's on the ground. And I'm kind of sweating it because they're practicing. They're practicing when I'm not looking. So I might have to change that up a little bit.
Yeah, but idea is there's an incentive, and and they've demonstrated they can at least know how to ask for Google reviews and so forth. So this is so important. I do encourage incentivized employees. If you're in a spot you really want to make sure to get continual reviews, but you got to make sure that they've demonstrated they can do it to begin with, because then they'll pull the pass card. I've seen it so many times. Trust me, don't make that mistake. All right. I lied. There's actually 5 more key principles for Google reviews. Here's the next thing, guys. There's so many tools, softwares, automated text, a lot of ways to continue to get reviews, but just remember, don't let that be a substitute for asking reviews directly face to face. You know, I know House Call Pro is a nice little tool. It's like it asks for a review after you're done. You know, I recently got service from a plumber 2 weeks ago, and they had that cool little text and automation ask me face to face if I was willing to leave their Google review. And I feel bad because I didn't do it because I know how important it is to them, but he didn't even ask me. And I was just like, all right, I didn't feel compelled to leave a review. I still might do it, but that's exceptional. You have no one like that. So that's so important. Nothing will substitute you asking for your review face to face. Number 7, if a bad review comes through, call them immediately and do whatever you have to do to make it right in their eyes. And I say in their eyes because you may have already bent over backwards to do all you can, but just if there's a way to fix it that's not going to cost you maybe an arm and 2 legs, it's probably not worth it. But
and here's a pro tip: if a bad review comes in, it is very hard not to get emotional about it. Who has been there? They've had a bad review come in and they didn't deserve it, and it's an emotional thing. I know it's happened to us. I've had clients. Do not immediately respond because you will not respond correctly if you do it immediately. Amen. My pro tip is to reach out to your coach. Shoot us a text, an email, give us a call. If we can't get back to you right then, I promise you we will. And honestly, don't worry about it until we do get back to you. It's not going to be detrimental, but let us help you respond. Let us help you get a game plan on how to handle the situation. It's just always good to take a couple breaths, step away before really trying to address that bad review. Everybody gets them. Usually they're not warranted. Very rarely they are. And so just tap into us. We're your resource there. We're your partner in this. And so reach out to us if that happens. We'll get a game plan together on how to handle it.
Absolutely. But don't wait 7 days to mention it and so forth. Just make sure that it's something that, you know, one of the keys for a customer to feel like, oh, this business owner actually cares about me is the timeliness of your response. So if it's a lost review and there's nothing you can do about it, then just have a proper talk with your coach about it, but have a good response just to show others who are reading it that you did what you could and that you're still a nice person willing to help out other people. Yeah, so this number 8 is very important. I feel like this is getting dropped all the time. You have to directly ask the customer, hey, would you be willing to leave me a review? You have to get their commitment. You have to ask them a yes or no question. If they say yes, then take them to the next step and say, all right, you mind if I'm going to send you a quick text here with the link, or you can scan this QR code here right now, and then just walk them through it right then and there. They just said they were going to do it, so it's not a big deal. But you've got to ask them. What's the flip side of that? This is what most people do when you first ask them to start getting reviews. They say, hey, by the way, reviews are important to us. If you could leave us a review. Oh, and by the way, here's your invoice, and I'll talk to you next time. No one's going to leave a review when you do it that way. You've got to ask them directly, look in their eyes and say, would you be willing to leave me a Google review? This is super helpful to us. Is that possible? Yes or no? And if they say no, you know, then I don't know. No one's ever said that to me. So
one thing I started doing in the last couple weeks is right before I ask the Google review, I mention whatever it is that I just did for my customer. You know, hey, I just unlocked your car. Or, hey, I just made you a couple car keys. And then you ask for the review. And I noticed that people are a lot more willing to write those reviews when you just mentioned what they got from you, like right before. And
absolutely, ask for it.
Reviews that I get just by changing slightly how I asked for it has almost doubled in the last couple weeks.
It's so powerful. Yeah, do it when the emotions are high. You just solved their problem, or you just got done remodeling their house and you're doing the walkthrough with them. They're excited. It's an emotional, excitement time. That's the best time to ask directly for that review, get their confirmation, send them the link, have them click on the link while you're in front of them. And that's going to be the surefire way that you're going to be getting more reviews.
Really like that input. Here's the last, one of the last here is, I'd make sure to that link I just showed you how to get that. You've got to have access to that link and make sure that every time you ask for a review, you text this to them or have that QR code linking to that. Just know that if you ever tell someone, hey, just go ahead and type my business name, and then you add even just one more step after that, you've already lost them. They will not do it. They will never do it. So you've got to have that link handy. You've got to have access to it. Got to keep it in your notes or ask your coach the best way to do it for you. And just make sure you have that ready and you text it to them in front of you or have that QR code ready, however you would like to do that. But you have to give them the tool to find your business listing. Don't ever expect them to say, for them to find your Google business listing by you walking them through it just verbally. They won't do it. Even if they say they will, they won't do it. You can tell I'm a little frustrated with this, but no, you just got to give them the tools for it. And lastly, guys, you can never stop gathering Google reviews. The people who have done the best with Google reviews are not the ones, are not my clients who have gotten lots of reviews at once and then stopped. It's the ones who've gotten reviews and never stopped getting reviews. It wasn't the spurt of reviews. It was just the consistency. They found a way. They have a system. They keep up with it. And as you can see, like I showed you earlier, the Pink Dumpster has about 450 reviews, and it's not stopping anytime soon. That's what I'm most excited about. It's taken us about maybe 12 months or so. I don't remember exactly to get to that point. What's exciting to me is that next year, I know they're going to be close to 900 Google reviews. That's a pretty nice thought. It's the system that you have in place. It's the consistency that's so important. Here's what I want to leave you with on this is, if you haven't already committed, what is the number of reviews that you know you can get every single week? Now, this isn't the, I'd really like to get X amount of Google reviews per week. Like, this is not the happy goal. I'm talking about the, no matter what happens in the world, you're going to get at least this many reviews, no matter what. So there's never an excuse. 3 tornadoes hit your neighborhood, I'm going to get X amount of Google reviews. What is that number? Write it down and make sure you commit to it, and you keep your team to that number, whatever that number is for them personally, individually. And then make sure, ask yourself, who are people that I know I can reach out to immediately, right after this call or right now? Text them right now. Does anybody have that number in their mind? They know this is the number of Google reviews that I commit to every week that you have been, or maybe have just decided. What is that number for a few of you?
$15.
Mark.
I try for 15 a week. I don't get it all the time, but yeah, that's how many I try.
Well, that's huge. That's a lot. And I think that's, what am I saying? That's a lot. Never, I don't want to limit anybody. That was horrible. No, that's whatever that number is.
That's
and I would always say,
amount.
That's a fair
yeah,
amount.
fair amount. Yeah. I know
Yeah.
that my plumber, they're a plumbing company. They are in and out of people's houses all day. They typically average in between 1 to 4 per week consistently. I can consistently count on them to get in between 1 to 4 every single week. It's very rare a week goes by that they don't get one. It's that consistency that's what's going to reward you over the course of time.
If you're having trouble figuring out that number for yourself, here's a simple way that you can figure that out. Hey, what should be our Google review goal? It's just based upon this really applies to service companies, primarily. Really any organization that's seeing a higher volume than customers per week. So the remodeling guys, the construction guys, you're on just a couple of job sites for an extended period of time. It may be a little bit more difficult, but begin to figure out, okay, based upon the number of trucks or crews I have, how many individual customers are we seeing per week? You know, if you're a plumber or you're an electrician or an HVAC company, each truck may see an average of 3 customers a day, maybe 4 customers a day. So then multiply that average on how many customers you're seeing a day by the number of trucks that you have. And then the number of days there are in the weeks, there's 5. And then aim for just getting a third of that. Aim for trying to get just a third of those. So if you're going to 3 homes a week with 1 truck, aim to get 1 review, or 3 homes a day with 1 truck, aim to get 1 review a day. If you have 2 trucks and they're averaging, between the 2 of them 6, aim to get 2 per day. That's 10 per week. But really make it based upon, hey, how many people am I seeing on average? And then try to go after a third of the people that you see on a daily basis, weekly
It's
basis.
funny that you mentioned that, because that's literally exactly how I came up to that figure.
Stop it.
I'm not
That's
kidding.
amazing.
I try to brown nose Robert. It doesn't work, Mark.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good
Amazing
to know.
that I just invented that method. Mark
Oh my
knew that method. I'm just kidding.
Okay, so we've got a couple minutes here. I would love for us to take this time for any questions, whether about the topic that we're discussing, about reviews or your online reputation or anything like that. We'd love to have questions. Unmute, ask away. You can type in the chat. Even if you have a question that's not directly about reviews, this is a time to get that answered. Like I said, we also have that time on Tuesdays at 9 a.m. We've got that I need help call. But I see Darren, I think you raised your hand. We'd love to get you some answers here, sir.
I think you mean Hawk raised his hand.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Thanks, Robert. Appreciate it. You're the only one that noticed that. Anyway, I'm curious, when do you know it's time to add a vehicle? Like, when do you know when it's time to add more guys on and know that it's the right time? I'm sure there's some mathematical formulation or formula for that.
There's a few easy methods. Do one of you guys one of our coaches want to take it?
Yeah, sure. So for me, the most practical way of doing this, Darren, is with tracking and seeing whenever you're scheduled too far out and you're tracking how many calls you're getting on a weekly basis, and you figure out how many are you not able to get to because of how far you are scheduled out, or that you're losing because of that length of time. Then you know that those calls that you're missing, you can reach if you have another truck to add. But primarily through tracking, knowing how many calls are coming in, how many it takes to convert, and how many and why you're losing them.
For
knowing
sure.
those things.
You always want the work to come before you add the guy. You know, you want to see the work coming in. It's okay if you have a couple of weeks where you're like, oh crap, we're kind of losing out on some people because I don't have another guy. I'd rather you be in that situation and looking to hire compared to, oh, I hired somebody and I have nothing to do for them. It's also really important with tracking, not just be tracking your lead flow, but also be tracking your current guys' performances. We want to make sure that that each one of your current vans are bringing in what they're supposed to be bringing in before adding another person to the team. We want to identify those issues. You know, if we have somebody who's supposed to be bringing in $5,000 per week and they're out in the field right now and they're only bringing in 3, that's an issue that we want to resolve faster than bringing another person in. Does that make sense? That could be a closing issue, a sales process issue, a pricing issue. And so we want to get that solved before bringing that next guy in. So I would get with your coach, look at your tracker, your KPIs to be a pretty good indicator of, and you can even add a new tab for how many calls we've had to turn away or we've lost is a great way to see that tangibly. So work with your coach, we'll get those KPIs built and you'll very confidently know it's the right time.
And if my thought is, look, hey, adding another vehicle or guys, I can also decrease the overtime I'm paying my current guys. That's one of the main factors I'm thinking. They get to get done earlier. There's a fear factor in that they're used to making the overtime money. But on my side, it's, hey, we can work consistent hours rather than 10, 12 hours a day. And again, I'm busy right now. It's a busy time for us.
Busy season.
Summer.
That comes into play. But I appreciate the feedback.
Absolutely. Any other questions? Just like Darren, it does need to be about reviews.
I think JT had a question earlier. I saw him pop up, but
So I was going to say about reviews. So my approach to reviews, when I get out of the truck, I'm thinking about getting a review for the job. So, you know, that's always on my mind. So, and it kind of keeps my conduct on the call where it needs to be. You know, I'm focusing on the job. I'm focusing on the end of that call because I know I'm going to ask for that review. And I mean, and it's still tough. I mean, like we had a customer, you know, right before we went on this call, you know, we were able to get there within 15 minutes of them calling, got their water line repaired, got their back on within 45 minutes. The dude was blown away. I asked him for the review. I still hadn't seen it come through yet. So, I mean, it's still tough. You know, but I always approach every call. You know, that's when I pull up in the driveway, I'm thinking about, okay, I'm asking for a review when I leave here. Let's mark all our T's and dot all our I's, you know, in this call. So, but it's still tough to get them. So, and I'm thinking of implementing the $10 discount to get it before I leave.
That's exactly it. And here's where I default with this. You don't need to come up with like some clever line or like some manipulative way to like try to get people to leave you reviews or like try to distort like how it makes. You just tell the customer what it is. Hey, we offer this discount. The only kind of asterisk or the only kind of thing about this discount is I have to get the review. I have to see the review before I leave in order for the discount to apply. I don't mean to be annoying with it. You just wouldn't believe how many people have told me that they'd leave me a review and then I give them a discount and they just forget about it, you know? And so just be open and tell the client, customer the deal. Hey, you know, we have this Google review discount. The only catch is I got to see the review before we leave. Why? I just have people that tell me they're going to leave me a review and they don't. And I want to be able to help you in case you don't know how. And that right there, JT, is the best way. You know, I mentioned going for a third. If you start doing that method and you really commit to it, not only will customers appreciate a little discount, you know, for 5 minutes of their time, but you're going to probably start getting 50% of the customers that you see getting a review. I try to get every single client that we work with at Redmond Growth to use that system. And it's hard because people forget or I don't know why, but that system works so well.
So powerful. Glenn, I saw you in the comments here, sir. Yes, ask a question. We'd love to have you.
Oh, thank you very much. So what is everybody's thoughts and opinions? You know, what would be a good way to approach a customer that you've been doing business with for a long time about raising prices pretty significantly? What's a good way to go about doing that?
So we can answer that question. However, he did open it up to anyone. Have any of our clients had to do that? And how have they approached that? Does anyone have any insight there?
Darren, you guys got some insight?
You know what? I don't want to hog the thing. So I've already shared a couple of times. So anyone else can go.
I think Mr. iPhone 3 is here to talk.
I'll touch on it because it's been very, very difficult in our industry. We sell a lot of barbecue, and a year and a half ago, a pound of brisket meat was $17, and now it's $25 to $30. And you know, the same people that are my customers are the same people that my kids go to school with their kids, and we're in a small community. I mean, I see these people every day, and the best, you know, it's a age-old truth that honesty is the best policy. And I'm very, very forward about, look, this is the economy we're in right now. This is the reality of our world. This is what things cost. And I'm not making any more money than I was before. This is just what the reality is right now. This is what it costs for me to stay in business. And when I've said that, I've had almost no pushback from it. And quite honestly, I think it's helped our business by people understanding who don't own businesses, the reality of what small businesses are going through right now.
Yeah, that $25 isn't going straight to you that they are paying. That gives them that reality of, this isn't going to your pocket. It's not giving you more profit. This is the reality of the situation currently. And you just have to charge this so that I can continue, you can stay in business and I can continue to come to you for lunch every day.
Yeah. Thank you very much for that.
And Glenn, I want to give you a quick mindset because is it Junior Smokehouse, the name?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes.
I thought so. I've not met you before, but I've heard about you. I'm Robert. Great to meet you. Glenn, I haven't met you. Great to meet you. I'm Robert.
Thank you.
Here's a mindset that you want to think about. Is Glenn, are you personally really proud of the work that you do in your business?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What kind of business is it?
So we do mobile wheel alignments on semis and heavy equipment.
Oh, I think we've actually talked on the phone before, haven't we?
Yes, sir, we have.
Okay. Well, it's great to put a face to the name. Yeah. Okay. So, and I actually know about the quality of your work because do you work with Bryce?
He works with me.
Oh, Nicole.
Yep,
Sorry.
Nicole.
One of them has told me about it. Anyway.
She's the one that yells at me on a frequently basis.
Well, dude, what I'm about to say applies to you especially because you do high quality work and you drive all across the region, right? Like not just locally, like across the state and is it like Georgia and Florida area?
Yes, sir. We service Florida, Louisiana, and Mississippi.
Okay. So you'll go across state lines, you come to them, and then you deliver a high quality experience. Bro, you're not providing a Mercedes level of value here. You're like in the exotic car market. Like there's not very many people who actually do what you do. And you're doing it with what we call a white glove approach. And so it costs what it costs. Be honest. I agree with that 100%. At the same time, also understand the real value you're giving people. If someone begins questioning your pricing, what I would say is, hey, we really believe we're charging a fair price. I'm not making a ridiculous profit on any of this. We aim for a 20% minimum margin that our business keeps as a net. But here's what we do differently that you're not going to find other people do. We come to you, we'll drive a distance. We're certified in the work that we do. You can trust us to arrive when we say we're going to arrive, and we get the job done extremely well. If you're dissatisfied with the work that we do, please let's have that conversation. But we really believe in the value that we're providing. So think about it in terms of charging what you're worth, charging your value more than anything else. Anyway, I know we gotta go.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
If anybody didn't get their questions answered, or you're gonna think about it tonight, maybe some questions arise, reach out to your coach or jump on that question and answers call that happens every single Tuesday, the I Need Help call. You can access it the same way you access this call. If you can't find the link, reach out to your coach. But this is just another resource to get questions answered and maybe hear from somebody who isn't your direct coach. And so take advantage of it. If you have any questions, let us know. And then Rudy, I'm gonna let you close us out. If everybody could unmute their mics.
All right, everybody, we're going to say growth when I say 3. That's 1, 2, 3, growth.
Growth. Yeah.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great night.
Thank you.
You're awesome,
Thank you,
Bob.
Hawk.
Great to see you.